Welcome to my podcast, Love and Courageous. I'm the host, Demetris, and on today's episode, I'll be speaking about Trump's pardon. On May the 28th, on a Wednesday, Donald Trump decided to pardon a couple of celebrities and a gang member. One celebrity is NBA YoungBoy, who is a rapper who was sentenced to do under 2 years in prison on gun-related charges. In 2004, NBA YoungBoy was sentenced by a federal judge in Utah after he acknowledged possessing weapons despite being a convicted felon. He reached an agreement that resolved Utah state charges against him and settled 2 sets of federal charges against him, one that carried a 23-month sentence and the other 5-year probation and a $200,000 fine. He was released from federal prison in March and was sent to home confinement after receiving credit for time served. Now, with home confinement that was completed last month, the pardon means that NBA YoungBoy will not have to follow the terms of his probation. That includes drug testing. NBA YoungBoy also acknowledged that he possessed a Glock 21.45 caliber pistol and a Masterpiece Arms MPA 30T 9mm handgun while filming a rap video in a city called Baton Rouge, located in Louisiana. He also said that he had a Sig Sauer 9mm semi-automatic pistol at his home in Huntsville, Utah. He has agreed to give up the guns. Now, he has previously been convicted in Louisiana of aggravated assault with a firearm, according to a statement that was released in advance of the plea agreement. He also pleaded guilty back in November to his role in prescription drug fraud ring that operated out of his home in Utah. He had paid a $25,000 fine and was given no prison time. Now, since Donald Trump has decided to pardon NBA YoungBoy, the rapper decided to make a statement saying, I quote, "I want to thank President Trump for granting me a pardon and giving me the opportunity to keep building as a man, as a father, and as an artist." Michael Grimm is another person that Trump has pardoned. The former representative of New York had pleaded guilty back in 2014 for tax fraud and related charges. Prosecutors allege he underreported wages and revenue to the government and that he filed false tax documents at a restaurant he owned before serving in Congress. Despite the indictment, Michael Grimm was reelected in 2014, although he pleaded guilty 1 month later and resigned in January of 2015. He served 8 months in prison. Now, he attempted a comeback run in 2018, but lost the GOP primary for his Staten Island and Southern Brooklyn district. Last year, he was paralyzed from the chest down after being thrown from a horse while playing polo. Another person is former Virginia Sheriff Scott Jenkins, who was sentenced to prison in March on fraud and bribery charges. Scott Jenkins took $75,000 worth of bribes, and federal prosecutors said giving badges to 8 untrained and unvetted individuals from whom he had allegedly accepted cash and campaign contributions. Scott Jenkins pleaded not guilty and denied any connection between taking payments and issuing badges at trial. Now, Donald Trump has made a post on Truth Social that Scott Jenkins, a longstanding supporter of the president, is a victim of a overzealous Biden Department of Justice and doesn't deserve to spend a single day in jail. Donald Trump said, I quote, "He is a wonderful person who was persecuted by the radical left monsters and left for dead." Jeremy Hutchinson, a former Arkansas state senator, is another person that Donald Trump has pardoned, who had been convicted on bribery and tax charges. He pleaded guilty in 2 different bribery cases back in 2019, acknowledging in court papers that he took payments from an orthodontic specialist and a healthcare charity and used his position as a lawmaker to back their interests. He also pleaded guilty to tax charges. He was sentenced to a total of 8 years in prison. Todd and Julie are 2 people that Donald Trump has pardoned. Todd and Julie Chrisley were in prison after being sentenced back in 2022 on bank fraud and tax evasion charges. The couple who started on Chrisley Knows Best submitted false financial statements to obtain more than $30 million in personal loans, which they spent on designer clothes, luxury cars, real estate, and travel. The Justice Department said the couple also concealed their income from the IRS to avoid paying nearly $500,000 in delinquent taxes, while also failing to file tax returns and pay taxes from 2013 through 2016. The couple pleaded not guilty. The couple were sentenced back in November of 2022 to a combined of 19 years in prison. Todd Chrisley was sentenced to 12 years in prison and 16 months of probation, and Julie Chrisley was ordered to serve 7 years in prison and 16 months of probation. The couple were also ordered to pay $17.8 million in restitution. And their daughter Savannah Chrisley posted an image on Instagram appearing to show Trump signing and posing with the pardon. She appealed to the Trump administration for pardons for her parents and spoke at the 2024 Republican National Convention. She said on Tuesday that Trump had called her, notified her that he was signing pardon paperwork for both of her parents. She said, I quote, I will forever be grateful for President Trump, his administration, and everyone along the way. All my lawyers, the people who put in countless hours and effort and love for my family to make sure that my parents got home. Todd and Julie Chrisley's son, whose name is Chase Chrisley, thanked Donald Trump and posted on social media and said, I quote, our rocks are back. Thank you to Mr. President for making a remarkable decision and bringing our family back together. We love, support, and thank you, Mr. President. God bless you and your entire family. Continue to make America great again. The last person I'm going to mention is Larry Hoover, the 74-year-old who is serving multiple life sentences in a federal prison for crimes linked to the Chicago-based gangster Disciples. Larry Hoover gang was one of the largest and most violent drug syndicates in America, operating in 35 states, according to the U.S. Justice Department. Larry Hoover was convicted of state and federal charges, including murder and use of a firearm while trafficking drugs. Larry Hoover founded the Gangster Disciples, a Chicago-based criminal organization that sold cocaine and other narcotics in the early 1970s. Called the chairman of the board and the king of the gang, he was declared one of the most notorious criminals in Illinois history. Prosecutors have said in court filings, Larry Hoover directed violence and drug trafficking in Chicago from the years of at least 1970 until 1995. At trial, the prosecutors presented evidence that the gangster Disciples profited $109 million each year from the sale of narcotics, a substantial proportion that went straight to Larry Hoover's family. Larry Hoover attorneys praised Trump's decision. They made a statement to CBS News that the courts have demonstrated a complete unwillingness to consider Mr. Hoover's considerable growth and complete rehabilitation. Despite the court's unwillingness to do the right thing, Mr. Hoover has been able to keep his voice alive through the incredible work of many advocates and supporters. Thankfully, Mr. Hoover's pleas were heard by President Trump, who took action to deliver justice for Mr. Hoover. Even Larry Hoover's son, whose name is Larry Hoover Jr., had called for his father's release for years and was featured in Kanye West's song Jesus Lord back in 2021. Larry Hoover has said from prison that he changed the name of his group from Gangster Disciples to Growth and Development. He said now he discourages violence and has made education mandatory for his followers, pushing inmates to develop job skills they can use after they are released. His family even said that he is no longer associated with the Gangster Disciples. But federal prosecutors have recently said Bureau of Prisons intelligence records show that Larry Hoover do not want to be disassociated from the gang. In September, attorneys from the Justice Department argued in court that Hoover remains the heralded leader of the GD, which is the Gangster Disciples, despite the intensive monitoring to which he is subject at Florence ADX, which is the highest level of security prison in America and home to convicted terrorist and Juan El Chapo Guzman. They have urged the court to decline any effort to release Larry Hoover as part of the First Step Act that was supported by Kardashian, which Trump signed into law during his first term. Even Kanye West, back in 2018 during the Oval Office meeting, Kanye has urged Trump to commute Larry Hoover's sentence. He said the reason why they imprisoned him is because he started doing positive for the community. He started showing that he actually had power and that he wasn't just one of a monolithic voice, but he could wrap people around. So there's theories and there's infinite amounts of universe and there's alternate universe. So it's very important for me to get Hoover out because in an alternate universe, I am him. And I have to go and get him free because he was doing positive inside of Chicago. Now, even though Donald Trump has pardoned Larry Hoover, he will not be getting out. He will be transferred from the federal Supermax prison in Colorado, where it's held now, to a state prison in Illinois to serve the rest of a 200-year sentence for crime he was separately convicted of in state court. And I just have to say this, honestly, Kanye West need to be canceled. I'm not even trying to be funny. This man has not been in the right state of mind for years. This guy is a gang member. Like, what good has he done for Chicago? He's murdered people. He put drugs in the community. Like, what are you talking about? He hasn't done any good. And so, honestly, I'm really happy he's not getting out. And not only that, but the only reason why Donald Trump is, like, pardoning these people is, one, he's racist. He don't like black people. He literally pardoned black people that are freaking criminals that don't do nothing for the black community. Why would you release a gang member? The only reason why he want to pardon these people who are black is because he want to release them again in the black community so these black people can tear down their own community. I honestly, personally do not believe that gang members should be out on the streets. If you're a gang member, you need to be locked up forever because you have so many gang members out here. They be in and out of jail. And a lot of them be shooting up people's homes. They be killing people. Don't nobody need that boy back out on the motherfucking street. He do not need to be out on the street. No, he needs to be right in that prison cell. And his family is defending him. Of course, they're going to defend him. But at the end of the day, no. If you murder somebody, sweetheart, Donald Trump has pardoned all these other people, which a lot of them were people that committed fraud. A lot of them committed fraud. So it does not surprise me at all that convicted felon pardon other felons or people that commit fraud. It does not surprise me at all. I'm like, this boy just be pardoning people. Whoever supports Trump, he's going to pardon them. But not only that, he wants something in return. I don't know exactly what it is. Now, in my opinion, I do think that some of these people, they paid him. It would not surprise me because he has been pardoning people since he got in office since January. He pardoned the January 6th people. These people that he pardoned are not innocent people. If you're going to pardon somebody, I feel like it should be somebody that's like, like actually innocent. And somebody that was like found guilty for a crime that they actually did not commit. Because one thing I do want to mention is that when it came to the Central Park 5, he wanted them to get the death penalty. And they were actually innocent. But you want to stand here and pardon a gang member who has teared down the black community. You want to pardon NBA Youngboy for what? NBA Youngboy, that boy is 25 years old. I'm not trying to be funny, but this man is a father. He got kids. Like, you too old for this mess. He shouldn't even be doing the stuff he doing. Like, Get it together. But he'll be back in trouble. I'm not even trying to be rude, but a lot of these people that commit crimes, they repeatedly, like, they just keep doing it over and freaking over again. And for the black people out here that are happy that he pardoned Larry Hoover, I don't know what the hell you happy for. That ain't nothing good. And that's the issue that I have with some black people. Like, some of them are just very freaking ignorant. And some of them are just, this might sound degrading, but some of them are actually like low lives. That sounds so bad. But like, some of them don't give a shit about their own freaking community. Like, some of them actually think, oh, like, that hard shit or whatever you want to call it. Some of them might call it hood. They think that shit is cool. Ain't nothing cool about it, damn it. This crap is not funny. But like I said, some of them, they really do not care about their own freaking community. I don't know what the hell some of y'all praising this shit for. And not only that, but Todd and his wife, some people are happy about that shit. I don't know what they for. Because let me tell you something right now. They have been convicted of fraud, okay? And we already know we got a convicted felon in office. So, with all these programs being taken away, and you know he giving billionaires their tax cuts, right? Who the hell you think he gonna give a check to? You don't think it's some of the people that he pardoned? You don't think it's some of the people that supported him? I'm pretty sure they getting something. They made a deal with him. Trust me, they are going to get something back. Those people just came out of freaking prison. You know dang on well they're gonna want some freaking money. Now, I'm pretty sure, you know, like I said earlier, I'm pretty sure that daughter probably paid his ass. But there is something that he wants out of return. I don't know what it is. But for the black people, I feel like when it comes to midterm, because, you know, it's next year, I feel like he going to want them to vote for him. And whatever else Trump got up his sleeve, we'll know within time. So that's all for the topic, and now I'm going to get into the Black History Fact for today. The Black History Fact for today will be about the Devil's Punch Bowl. The Devil's Punch Bowl was a refugee camp in Natchez, Mississippi, that was established after the Civil War. As black people made their way to freedom, the town of Natchez quickly went from a population of 10,000 to nearly 100,000 people. To deal with the population influx of freedmen, a concentration camp was established by Union soldiers to eradicate the slaves, essentially. So they decided to build an encampment for them, which they walled off and wouldn't let them out. The camp was called the Devil's Punch Bowl because of how the area was shaped. The camp was at the bottom of a hollow pit with trees on the bluffs above. The women and children were locked behind the concrete walls of the camp and left to die from starvation. The area was subject to flooding, cramped conditions, lack of sanitation, and limited resources that led up to a high death toll. A lot of them also died from smallpox disease. Over 20,000 free slaves were killed in 1 year in this American concentration camp. Black men were recaptured by the Union troops and forced back into hard labor. That is all for today. For my next episode, I'll be speaking about Offset, Cardi B ex-husband that asked for spousal support. So thank you everyone for listening to my podcast, and I hope y'all have a lovely day.